What's up, y'all? This is Truth Podcast with your host, True Car. Today I wanted to talk about healing and understanding how to receive and give in a balanced manner, and also understanding how to heal certain wounds within yourself in order to truly be able to receive and give. Because I think it's important to understand when it comes to having a strenuous relationship with your parents, with your mother or your father, in whatever capacity that is, whether they were in your life or not. I think it's important to understand that plays a big role in how you receive and how you give, and it plays a big role in if you have the type of attachment styles you have, if you have an anxious attachment style, or if you have a abandonment wound or a avoidant attachment style. I think it's all wrapped up in having some type of abandonment wound within your connection to your parents, and understanding that has a lot to do with the duality of your masculine and feminine energy. And I think it's important to understand to heal your masculine and feminine energy if you want to step more into a go-getter role and create. You have to put yourself in a position to be in that masculine energy and heal that space, especially if you're trying to be an entrepreneur or you're trying to get to the next level at your job or whatever the case may be. Being able to be strong and determined and really confident in what you are doing is important. And in order to be that, you have to allow yourself to feel safe in your masculine energy. And I think it's important to understand the root of everything that you do in order to really build on a strong foundation or break down what you need to break down to start over on a strong foundation. And so that's why I think it's important to know how to heal and release the things that you need to release. And for me personally, I also use astrology to heal and release the things that I need to release. For example, right, my sun sign is a Taurus, my Venus and my moon sign is a Pisces, and my rising sign is a Leo. And I think when it comes to your emotions, it's so important to understand how to heal, and it's so important to understand how to show up within that and understand what you need as an individual. And when it comes to your moon sign and your Venus sign, that is the perfect way to connect to your emotions and understand what you need to feel love and how you express love. When it comes to your Venus, how you express love, and when it comes to your moon sign, how you need to really feel love. And so for me personally, I use water in order to cleanse and remove trauma or heaviness. So when I take showers, I set the intention that water flows over me to release and let go of trauma, hurt, and pain, or whatever I'm storing within my body. Or I'll go to the river, or I go to a body of water to really just sit there in peace and absorb the energy of that, setting the intention to just release and let go and be in a still space when I'm around water. And when it comes to my rising sign, which is, in my personal opinion, that masculine energy, which you step into what people see first, it is Leo, and that is the element of fire. So I use, when it comes to my self-concept, when it comes to the way that I view myself or what I need to release in that manner, I use fire. So I'll write down certain things and I'll burn it. I'll burn a piece of paper, or if it's something that I feel like is holding me back, I'll write it down and I'll burn it, and I'll set the intention to release it. Or when it comes to my sun sign, which is Taurus, I love to be out in nature, which is why I'm always making videos when I'm outside, because I love to be out in nature, and I feel like it's a space for me to be able to channel and connect to my true wisdom as well. And so I think it's important to understand when it comes to the different elements to use it in your favor in order to, in your chart, in order to release and heal in a capacity that you can really embody and release what you need to release, or embody what you need for yourself to show up in a space of true authenticity as well. And so when it comes to air signs, I think it's important to understand that that is the mental space. So understanding how to connect to, when it comes to healing, when it comes to the different elements, when it comes to if you're a fire sign, an earth sign, water sign, or an air sign, it's important to understand if you're a fire sign to use fire in order to heal, whether that be writing down and journaling something that you feel like is holding you back and burning that piece of paper, or whether it be sage, or whether it be just using or incorporating fire within your healing sessions is important to release and let go if you're a fire sign. If you're a water sign, using water, to incorporating water in your routine to help you to release and let go, like taking a bath, taking a salt bath, taking a shower, or going around bodies of water and really just sitting there and allowing yourself to be in the present moment. Or if you're an air sign, like I said, using that mental chatter and really allowing yourself to sit down and allow yourself to just be the observer of your mind instead of attaching yourself to every thought. Just allowing yourself to sit back and be the observer of the mental chatter that's going on, and using a notebook and writing it down, or speaking out loud and just getting your thoughts out there. I think it's important for an air sign to really connect to healing, or connect to whatever you need to connect to work through what you need to work through. And I think for a earth sign, it's very important to allow yourself to ground. Be outside, take your socks off and put your feet in the dirt, or put your hands in the dirt, or wrap your arms around a tree. I think it's important to understand that being outside is your best friend if you're an earth sign. And I think it's important to understand what you are in order to really use it to your benefit, in order to grow as an individual. And also, understanding the power of prayer as well. I use different techniques in order to connect to what I need to connect to, because I've been through a lot in life, and I refuse to let that be the end story, the end game for me. And I refuse to let my past hurts and pains turn me into something that I am not, turn me into something that is cold, or that is wounded, or that is a victim for the rest of my life. I refuse to do that. And so I use everything in my power to forgive the people from my past and forgive myself and step into what I'm and who I am meant to be. And so that is why I make these videos as well, to just express all of the work that I've done and put in within myself, and the wisdom that I have accumulated from those different experiences, or from different connections, and putting that out there to somebody that might need the information that I'm sharing, because I needed this at one point in time. And so that is why I make the videos that I make. But I think it's important to understand your wounds at a core level so that you can heal them, because sometimes you have to know what something is for you to heal it. Sometimes you have to know exactly what the cause of something is for you to understand how to really dig deep within it. And sometimes you just need to allow it to come up. And triggers is what allows those things to come up. So that's why I think it's important to use triggers as a map to really connect to what you need to connect to, and allow whatever is coming up when it comes to other people and different connections to use that to embody what you need to embody, or see what you need to see within those connections to be a healthier version of yourself. And so I think it's important to understand, when it comes to the divine feminine and the divine masculine energy of everything, it's important to understand a balance and understand how to receive and understand how to give, because in a capacity where it is, when it's about the anxious attachment style, that comes from a place of feeling like something is running from you. And I think it's important to understand, in order to feel safe within your feminine energy, you have to embody and empower yourself when it comes to your divine masculine energy, in order to protect your divine feminine energy, in order to be that protector for yourself. And when it comes to your divine feminine, you have to allow yourself to be safe within your divine masculine as well, so that what you create, when you give it out into the world, when you create, that is your divine feminine. And when you actually put it out into the world, that is your divine masculine, acting on your divine feminine energy. And in order for you to really feel safe and get back something within your divine feminine energy, you have to feel safe in your divine masculine energy. You have to feel safe to put out what you have created. And I think it's important to understand, to have a balance within that, in a space of receiving when it comes to your divine masculine, in a space of giving when it comes to your divine feminine. And in order for you to really understand that, you have to understand your connections with the divine masculine, whether that be, your dad wasn't in your life and you had to just connect to your mom. In that space, you have to understand in what way she showed up in her masculinity. Hold on, my foot finna go to sleep. In that way, you have to understand what way she showed up in her divine masculine, and understand how she maneuvered through that, and understand in what way that might have been toxic to your growth as an individual, of you just seeing her being a hustler but never taking a break, or never relaxing and allowing herself to be in her divine feminine. That might put a strain on the way that you perceive receiving, because it's important to go be a go-getter and put your work out there, or create what you need to create, but it's important to also understand that you deserve to receive from it. And you deserve to have as well. And I think it's important to understand that when it comes to being a creator, understanding your relationship with receiving, and understanding your relationship with giving as well. Do you just feel comfortable with giving, or do you just feel comfortable with receiving, and understanding why you feel that way? Because if you feel uncomfortable with receiving, that has a lot to do with feeling unworthy or unsafe to feel, or unworthy or unsafe to have, because you might have grown up in an environment where people only showed you that it was okay for you to give to them, but when in return, when it was time to give to you, it was always an attitude, or it was always them being uncomfortable to hand something over to you. Because for me, for example, right, like when it comes to receiving, even if I am receiving something from somebody, I feel uncomfortable and I feel in a fight or flight energy. And I realize with my own healing and me as an individual, I realized that I felt that way because I grew up in environments, and still to this day I had people around me that when they are giving to me, it's always, you can tell they are holding back, or they don't want to completely give it to me with, their hand, or they don't feel safe with giving to me without wanting something in return. And so it put me in a position to not feel safe with receiving. But when I give, it's like smiles and happiness, and I can tell it makes other people's days. And I think it's important for me to really now understand that me understanding and removing people from my life or cutting people out of my life, I realize to be okay with, to shift and change something, you have to be uncomfortable for a little bit. You have to be perceived in whatever way, especially if you're the type of person that's always been a giver. You have to put yourself in a position to so-called be the villain of the story and start to be more selfish with your energy and your time. And also understand your value, because if you don't know your value, you won't know what to protect. Because a lot of the times when you're not financially giving, though, other people around you that don't see the value in anything else will misuse you because they only see the value in money. So when you put yourself in a position to not see your own value in your own inner worth, they misuse it and they take because they can tell you don't see the value in what you're actually giving other than your finances or other than money. And that's why I think it's important to sit down and really understand the value that you truly do bring, whether that be the love, the unconditional love that you give, the great advice, the protection energy that you offer when you're around somebody. I think it's important to understand the true value that you give so that other people can't play on your value or play in your face or play about what you are giving, so that you understand what you need to receive in return as well. Because I think it's important to be in a space of really sitting down with yourself and understanding what you need and what you want, and allowing yourself to do non-negotiables in any type of situation, any type of relationship, not just romantic relationships, but platonic relationships as well. Really understanding what you need and really understanding what's a non-negotiable in your life. So that way when people come in and they cross those boundaries, you know when to instantly let somebody go. That way when somebody comes in and they cross those boundaries, you know when to instantly let somebody go, instead of waiting until somebody hurts you and then you realize that that was an extreme boundary. I think it's important to understand and sit with yourself and really understand what you need in relationships and not settle for anything less than what you need in relationships, and understanding how to heal the parts of you that tell you that you don't deserve that, whether that be a father wound or a mother wound or a sibling wound or a family wound in general. Understanding who told you or who tried to instill into you settling in life, whether that be financially, emotionally, spiritually, or whatever. Who told you that it's not okay to ask for more? And really allowing yourself to feel into that and forgiving those people and forgiving yourself for internalizing their fears and their projections as well, so that you can truly grow as an individual, and so that you can start to be in, and not just asking for what you want, but being in an energy of being open to receiving, or being in an energy of being open to give as well. Because it is important to allow yourself to be able to give from a space of love as well, and not just giving to get something back, or not just completely receiving, but allowing yourself to give as well, having a balance within that, and having people around you that you can just flow, instead of having people around you that you have to do this nitpicking or this back and forth thing with in order for you to feel some type of peace or some type of safety within that connection. If you have to force safety in a connection, that is not the connection for you. And I think it's important to understand that, to really understand the connections that you need and understand how to release and let go of the connections that are hurting you or taking from you or projecting onto you negativity or hurt or pain or keeping you stuck and stagnant. And also releasing and letting go of that type of connection with yourself as well. Being in a space of feeling like you don't want to put your all into something because you're scared that you're going to not get anything back in return, especially if it's showing you that it's for you. Because you failed so many times in the past, or you failed so many times in past connections, I think it's important to understand in every area of your life, examine and really understand the connections that you have with it, whether that be money or whether that be romantic connections or whether that be platonic connections. Really examining and understanding why you're afraid of giving your all in those situations, or why you are afraid of receiving. What is stopping you from being open to receive, and what is stopping you from being open to give? Like, what dynamic played a part in your life to tell you that you were unworthy of either one? Because if you're too afraid to put your all into something, you won't really know. Even if you do get it, you won't really know if you deserved it or not. And it'll put you in a space of, like I said, not starting something on a strong foundation, which will end up making that foundation crumble to where you have to figure out the little steps that were missing. And I think it's important to understand that when it comes to healing. But yeah, I'm running out of storage, so I'm gonna finish this on another day. But make sure that y'all like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for new podcasts every Friday on my YouTube channel, which is True Car, and also my podcast channel, which is Truce with 2 8s instead of 2 S's podcast. And this is Truce Podcast with your host, True Car.